With the origin fixed, the superior fibers elevate the scapula, gliding it toward the skull. The superior fibers also laterally rotate the scapula upward. With the insertion fixed and the muscle contracting on one side only, the superior fibers laterally flex and rotate the head and neck to the opposite side. With the insertion fixed and the muscle contracting on both sides, the superior fibers extend the neck. The superior fibers are innervated by the spinal accessory nerve. The origins of the middle fibers are from the spinous processes of vertebrae T1 through T5. The insertions are to the medial border of the acromion and the superior lip of spine of the scapula. With the origin fixed, the middle fibers adduct the scapula. This is a gliding movement toward midline. The middle fibers are innervated by the spinal accessory nerve. The origins of the inferior fibers are from the spinous processes of vertebrae T6 through T12. The insertion is to the tubercle of the spine of the scapula. With the origin fixed, the inferior fibers depress the scapula, gliding it inferiorly. The inferior fibers also laterally rotate the scapula upward. The inferior fibers are innervated by the spinal accessory nerve. From a state of flexion, it moves the arm to an anatomical position or to a state of extension, and beyond this to a state of hyperextension. It also adducts the arm by moving it in a medial direction toward the midsagittal plane, and medially rotates the arm by turning the anterior surface of the arm toward midline. Latissimus dorsi is innervated by the thoracodorsal nerve. Levator scapula elevates the scapula and pulls the glenoid cavity inferiorly. It is innervated by the cervical nerves and the dorsal scapular nerve. Rhomboid major elevates the scapula, adducts the scapula, and medially rotates the scapula downward by moving the glenoid cavity inferiorly and the inferior angle medially. It is innervated by the dorsal scapular nerve. Rhomboid minor elevates the scapula, adducts the scapula, and medially rotates the scapula downward by moving the glenoid cavity inferiorly and the inferior angle medially. It is innervated by the dorsal scapular nerve. Acting by the splenius capitis extends the head and neck. Acting unilaterally, it extends and laterally flexes and rotates the head and neck to the same side. Acting bilaterally, the iliocostalis extends the vertebral column and neck. Acting unilaterally, the iliocostalis thoracis laterally flexes the vertebral column to the same side. It is innervated by the dorsal rami of spinal nerves. The erectors spinae, the prime movers of back extension, consist of 3 superficial columns of muscle in the posterior neck and trunk. These are the iliocostalis, the longissimus, and the spinalis. The spinalis forms the medial-most column, and when most developed, it has 3 parts, as do the other muscles. These are spinalis thoracis, spinalis cervicis, and spinalis capitis. From their origins, spinalis fibers run superiorly to insert onto vertebrae, the ligamentum nuchae, and the skull. The spinalis thoracis is the least variable of the 3 parts, as well as the least blended with fibers of other muscles. Its origins are from the spinous processes of L2 through T11. The insertions, though somewhat inconstant, are to the spinous processes of the upper 4 to 8 thoracic vertebrae. The spinalis thoracis extends the vertebral column in the thoracic area. It is innervated by the dorsal rami of spinal nerves. Bilaterally, the semispinalis capitis extends the head and neck. Acting unilaterally, the semispinalis capitis rotates the head to the opposite side.